Esoterica, the podcast, where we discuss the unusual, obscure, and offbeat. I'm Chris Schultz.
I'm Aaron Christian.
How's it going, Aaron?
Oh, it's going pretty good.
So I thought today, instead of a esoteric, obscure beverage, we'd bring back a classic that's sort of been languishing at the rear of the coolers at your local bodega.
Anguishing at the rear of your coolers.
Yes. Yoo-hoo. Do you remember Yoo-hoo?
Oh, yeah. Yoo-hoo chocolate drink.
Part of my... Yeah, it's not milk. It's just chocolate drink.
It's not... Disclaimer, there's no milk.
Well, is there... Let's see. High fructose corn syrup. Whey. It's got whey.
There's a whole whey unit.
Yeah. So it's got non-fat dry milk. Now... I've seen this before where one of the ingredients is dry milk. It's a beverage. So, it's wet milk.
It's wet. It's not dry.
So, whatever. But it's a cool source of vitamins, too. Although, really, you're looking at tops 25% of your daily dose of vitamin A and riboflavin. So, not a lot. But anyway, it's a classic beverage.
Yeah.
So, let's see if we can get a nice, satisfying pop.
Ooh.
And we'll enjoy
A little bit of
chocolate drink.
Right now, we're going to cue song 2.
Cue song 2.
Cool.
Here you go, sir.
Thank you, fine sir.
We're rocking the blue solo cups tonight because every day's a party in the pandemic of 2020.
Well, it smells like a chocolate chip pancake, in my opinion.
Oh, you know what? Have you ever had a bowl of Cocoa Krispies and you finished the cereal and now your milk is brown?
Yeah. Which is a soup.
And then, yeah, I might go along with that. This smells like a bowl of leftover Cocoa Krispies milk.
It does. It does.
All right. Well, here's to Untainted. Something oddly satisfying about that.
Yeah, it's not as good as I remember.
Few things are.
I can definitely tell it's not milk now.
Yeah.
It smells way better than it tastes.
I like that it tastes sort of like chocolate milk, but is not as heavy or as thick as chocolate milk, but that also bothers me at the same time.
That's the exact problem I have. It's not heavy enough.
I'm wondering if you just took chocolate syrup and put it in water, if you'd get a similar flavor.
Well, they do sell the Nesquik syrup and stuff that you can put in milk.
But actually, I'm wondering if you take like the powdered strawberry milk stuff and just put that in water instead of milk. It would probably be gross.
What if you put Gatorade and put it in milk? Like Gatorade powder.
That is the most horrifying thing I've ever heard in my life.
But imagine it's orange milk. It might taste good. Or lemon lime milk.
Lemon lime, just the word lemon lime milk is horrifying. But, you know, I'll give it to you. It might be good.
Okay. So, what are we giving this?
Well, for me, although not delicious or particularly satisfying and maybe a little bit worrisome, it does have a high nostalgia factor. So I would give it a solid 6 out of 10.
The more I keep drinking it, the more I'm liking it. I'm going to go 6.1 because 6 is a rookie score. If you listen to Dave Portnoy on Barstool Sports, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Contains milk and soy.
Well, that's Yoo-hoo.
Thank you, Yoo-hoo. Okay, before we go any further, I want to take a minute to talk about the awesome folks at Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way. In fact, it's the way that we make a podcast. Let me explain.
It's free.
There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more.
And you can make money from your podcast. Best part, no minimum listenership.
Ooh. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
It's so cool. We just We found the service. We started using it. We're making podcasts.
Yeah, making podcasts, making money, having a good time.
So listen, you want to get you out there. You want to be heard. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Thank you. So for today, we are going to have a special guest shortly joining us, and that is Jake Morse and Nick Cronin, who together in 2016 made the album Untainted, which Jake put out by himself. Jake and I have been friends for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now. We used to work together at True Keys, which is a supermarket.
You're a true key to savings.
Yes, it is. It's not True Cheese, despite popular local belief. But we worked together. We discussed that we had music, and Jake and I have been making music under the name Yoo-hoo, which if you go on our website, you can buy our CD. Subtle plug. But we'll be having Jake on right beforehand, like we did last week with Homer. We're going to play a little song before that. And this has been pulled off all the stores, and we have Jake's permission to pretty much use it. So we're going to play Nick Showing Off.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to that.
So as we listen to Nick Showing Off, as you listen to Nick Showing Off, I should say, prepare yourselves for the Jake and Nick that follow.
You want to make a track or something?
No, I'm good. All right, so joining us today, we have Jake Morse and Nick Cronin from Jake Morse and Nick Cronin. So we'll be talking about the release Untainted from 2016. Jake, is that where it's from? When it's from?
Yeah. I think so. I don't remember what month, but I think sometime in 2016. Yeah.
2016 sounds about right. It's about the time I met you, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. So Jake and I go back to working at True Key Supermarket.
True Keys. Let's go.
I think I can't remember how the conversation came up that we both did music, but we both do music, and we're like, hey, yeah, music.
Yeah.
So
pretty much. Yeah. Hey, yeah. And then somehow you ended up with the CD for this in your car, right?
Yeah. So this record, I'll call it a record. You pulled it off of all the stores, so the only way I was able to get the audio for this was the CD that you gave me. And I went through a lot of trouble. There's no disk drive on my my Mac, so I had to do a lot to pull it off. Can you guys give me sort of like the background behind like maybe why you wanted to do Untainted or where it came from?
So I can tell you, we just I was making music for a while before this. Like I put out a bunch of really bad mixtapes, like rapping over other people's beats and stuff. And Nick was just kind of like around more, hanging out with my brother at the time, and I just knew that he played piano, and I was like, well, I can program drums. Maybe if you play piano, I can figure out what sounds to work with, and we can figure out how to make this work together. And eventually just it ended up being I would get home from True Keys at 9 o'clock and we'd make something all night, and that just kind of turned into visualizing it into an album. And I don't know if I remember the exact story of why we called it Untainted, to be quite honest. Some sort of it was a joke, I think, at first, but
yeah, I don't remember. I remember there being some there was some reason, there was a specific reason for most of it, but yeah. There was a reason for the name, but I don't really remember why. Yeah, wasn't it a inside joke with us and John?
Yeah, but I don't remember the specifics of it.
I don't either. Oh wait, I do. No, I do, and It's not. It's probably not PG, I would say. So maybe, I'll text it to you all if you want. You can know, but I don't think I should. I don't want to say it out loud. Pretty much. So.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's.
I remember, and I think this is more a question for Nick to answer, but Robert Downey Jr. is a track on the album. There's a story behind that apparently, that from what I understand comes from Nick. I don't know, but do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, that was Nick's idea originally. I don't know if you remember it or not.
It was my idea?
Yeah, the whole premise of the song anyway.
No,
and
I don't.
but,
I remember making the song and stuff, but I don't remember it being.
Should I explain?
My memory is terrible.
You'll
explain it
when I
better
say
than me.
But so it's basically it was. I think you picked me up from Drukey's. We came back here to make music, and then you were just like, "Yo, we should make a song about Robert Downey Jr. and about Robert Downey Jr. being lit." and had something to do with, I think, Robert Downey Jr.'s drug problem or something.
He did have a past drug problem. That is the truth.
And then I think you just kind of started singing it's getting lit like Robert Downey Jr. in that way, and then we just rolled with that as the chorus.
I mean, it turned out okay.
Yeah, it's just very very. I have no idea why you came in and said that as an idea, but it worked out.
And Chew Jackson, is that who it is on the song as well? Yeah. Not True Jackson VP, but Chew Jackson.
Yeah, Chew Jackson.
Chew Jackson. How did you go about getting him on it? Did you just reach out to his?
Yeah, I contacted him via Snapchat. So it was
very official.
The reason I knew about him was if you're familiar with Mac Miller, he was he signed Chew Jackson to his imprint of a label that he had. So he had an imprint under another label or something. So a mini kind of label deal set up, and Chew Jackson I think was the only person that he signed. And I ended up just getting in touch with Chew Jackson via Snapchat, and I sent him a message and I was like, "Hey, you want to work on this song? It's really good," because I loved it. And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And I ended up paying him a little bit of money to get on it because he was kind of a big deal at the time, like a small big deal, but a big deal to me. And so I paid him $300 for that verse, believe it or not. But yeah, that's how he ended up on it. Everyone else besides him that's involved with this album is just my friends. I think it's just me, Nick, and Jillian Mortimer's on there one time, and other than that, it's just us. We produced it all and mixed it all, but then Chew Jackson's just kind of came in from Pittsburgh or something and emailed us a verse. But yeah.
So you guys also both show off on the album. Now, was this all planned, or did you just kind of throw something down? But hey, this needs to go on.
Well, Nick's very good at piano, and I would say that I'm at least pretty good at rapping, and I really wanted to have a part where I'm where I just rapped for however many minutes straight, 5 minutes straight or something, over a bunch of different beats, because I just thought it would be cool. And so that's kind of where my thing came from. And then I was like, well, Nick, you should also have a showing off part. And then I don't know what the thing behind that was, because I just recorded Nick playing some piano, so I don't know where that.
Yeah, 43 seconds of just Nick. It was great.
Yeah. Nick, do you know where did you come up with that, or was that just something that you already have been playing before? I don't know where it came from, to be honest.
What I actually played?
Yeah.
At the time, it was something I was messing with writing. It was kind of that was all I had, though. The song, it wasn't a song yet. That's just all I had.
Yeah.
And then we just decided to put it on there, I guess, as a little interlude.
Nick showing off interlude.
Yeah.
Everybody should have.
And then we had that just horrible dialogue with each other, but.
Yeah.
You're done showing off.
You gotta start somewhere. You gotta start somewhere, and we started with Untainted. which is fine.
Yeah. So I have to say, Jake, you did a really good job on this album of doing of pulling a lot of references in from like 90s kids references, especially in Rugrats.
Yeah.
But was it Michael Scott was mentioned in there, Excel, a lot of Office things were just immediately put in.
Yeah, I just make that's kind of like a lot of how I write is just through references, I would say, and like metaphors basically. I don't know, it's not like a lot of it's not very like straightforward, so like some of it even like people probably don't get but like it's like cool when you do get it, because then it's like you feel like you kind of are.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot more intimate when you actually understand what the reference is.
Yeah, exactly.
So on WTF, is it you and Nick, are you guys both going back and forth complaining about the different things that you say what the fuck to?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Because I think I can distinctively tell who's saying what, so I just
Yeah, that's Nick in the chorus with me. That's I think the only time besides the little like interlude parts where his voice makes an appearance on this project. But yeah, that's we just like started making that, and we were like, let's just think of a bunch of like bad stuff that would be like a WTF moment, you know? Basically, we wrote it all down on a piece of paper, and then we both.
I think it was like, didn't we try to make like the worst day? Because everyone always made songs about like good days, it felt like at the time.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, like let's do normal stuff that people complain about.
Yeah, and that's kind of how the whole the like premise of the album as a whole, I feel like kind of has like a thing where it starts out with really like negative kind of takes on stuff, like with WTF being like the second track. The one before that is about running away, and then it gets to the last song, which is called Best Day, and it's like the whole like way through that, it takes kind of a whole little mini journey inside the album, which was kind of a little idea that I had just to make something interesting out of the 8 tracks that we were putting out. But yeah, WTF was pretty much just like worst case scenario day.
So I said this before we started, but or maybe I said it when we started. I'm not sure. But when so this has been pulled off of everything. Is there a specific reason for that, or just kind of a change in style, or you hate it? Like, what's
love hate for me? That's how I feel about it, but more towards like embarrassed, but like at the same time, like I can appreciate it. But so yeah, I guess if for me specifically, like my reason for taking it off was just like I didn't want it, like people. I was very sick of people like telling me Robert Downey Jr. was my best song ever, because it's like good, but like there's so many more things that like me and Nick together have made since then that are like 10 times better than that song, and I was just like I just don't like. And then I don't know, there's other songs on there that are like they're good for what they were, but I was just like I really just kind of want to put this behind me. Like it feels like singing in the shower to me is what I was telling Nick. It's like, you know, you think you're by yourself, like belting something out, just trying something, and then someone hears you and they're like, oh, that was nice, good job. That's like what this album feels like to me. It's like we just kind of like didn't know what we were doing and just like threw stuff together. And I like my voice wasn't really trained at all. Like I had no idea what I was doing vocally. just recorded it and put it out like so confidently, and then I listened back a few years later and I'm like, oh god. Well, so that's my thinking on it.
Well, I do appreciate you giving us permission to put it out Internet Archive, so if you really want to listen to it, you can.
Yeah, I know. I just kind of shit on it.
But we're going to sweep that under the rug for a second, because I want to move on, and let's talk about the 2 new songs, which I think came out, like yesterday and last week, relative to now. So by the time this episode comes out, like 3 weeks ago. But, so those were Something About You and Selfless Self-Improvement.
Yes. Yeah, those. I've been... This month, pretty much, I've been doing like weekly new songs, and just like I figure now's as good a time as any to just like drown people in new music, because what else are you doing right now, right? So I was doing like monthly song releases, and then I just decided to start doing weekly all of a sudden. So yeah, those 2 songs just came out back to back weeks, and there's another one coming next Tuesday, I think. But those 2, yeah, those are better than this album that we're talking about. But yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, so on our website we have a section called Albums from Our Episodes, so you'll be able to find the Untainted thing, but you'll especially also be able to find Selfless Self-Improvement and Something About You on that section as well. So
Nice.
Check that out instead.
Or both, it doesn't matter.
Please.
Well, that helps Jake more than listening to Untainted, so that's what
Sure,
we're here for. So do you have anything you want to talk about going forward? Maybe you and Nick, or you, or anything, or maybe Nick? Whatever, like anything future plans that you want to mention?
Yeah, what do you think, Nick? Should we give a little something? I haven't spoke about this like yet, but we have something that we're working on. What do you think?
If anyone should hear it first, I think it should be these guys.
Fair enough. All right, so yeah, we're working on something back together, working on some stuff. It's been a little while since we've worked on things together, but we're back at it. So basically, not to like just keep plugging my own music, but there's this album, and then there's an album after that called Morse Code, and I feel like that's like a step forward from what Untainted was, but still not like quite good. Like great, and so since then I've only been putting out singles just to keep trying stuff and keep putting stuff out. But we are actually working on another like full length thing. So in an era that not a lot of people want to put full albums out, we're just gonna make a full album. So we're working on that right now. It's like very long-term project though, like a year and 6 days from now is when it will be out, to give you the actual release date. But like I'm not gonna actually tell anyone other than on here when until like very close to when the album's gonna come out. But that is the plan, is May next year is when it will be happening. But we're part of the way through that already, and it's just gonna be like a lot of taking our time to make sure everything's perfect, because I think that we've both gotten a lot better at what we do, and then we're going to bring in people to, like, I'm sure Aaron will probably even play on this album.
Oh, Jake.
And yeah, so we're just going to, we're trying to make the best album ever. Like ever.
We're putting Michael Jackson to shame. No one will even remember his name.
That's a bold take. That should be our whole thing, is that we're coming from Michael Jackson's spot with this album.
Michael Jackson to Shame by Jake Morse. So I think this is as good a time as any also to plug Yoo-hoo, because we're both here. And it's on our website. So yeah. Jake and I do Yoo-hoo. It's a band. It's weird.
Yeah.
Apparently they like it in China. I don't know if that was serious or not, Nick.
Of course, you should see the streets in China right now. You'd think they'd be closed. They're just out there with like signs, cheering. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Aaron, honestly, if me and you went to China, it would be like the Beatles. Just like getting chased, screaming.
Women just passing out in the streets, not because of COVID. Yeah. It's because Jake and Aaron from Yoo-hoo were there.
Yeah.
So our CD is also available on the website if anybody wants to check it out. Under the live stream tab thing, there'll be a little thing.
Yeah, it's a good project.
It's a project for sure.
It's very good.
I love the name.
Yeah. Oh, it took us all of 3 minutes to figure it out. I think I remember the date. Isn't that weird? Well, I think that's all we had to talk about. So thank you guys for joining us and talking about Untainted, and hopefully when that new record comes out at some point, we'll have you on to talk about that too.
Definitely, yeah.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, happy to be here. It was fun to like look back a little bit at the thing that we did 4 years ago that we don't talk about anymore. It was fun to kind of like pull the curtains back and look at it again. So thanks for doing that. It was fun.
Well, that was cool.
Yeah, definitely. If hopefully Nick and Jake are listening. Thank you again for coming on, and I had a really good time talking to them about this release. I remember when it came out, and it was a good time. So definitely nice to relive those moments. And you can check that out on Internet Archive, which you can get the link to on our website. But don't do that and listen to Jake's new stuff because he asked you to.
Yes. He's kind enough to talk about it, so do what he asks.
Yeah, just do what he asks. That's my motto.
Yeah, that's a good motto to have.
So that's about wrapping it up for this episode. What have we got on the plate for next week?
What do we have? Well, so going back to some of our older episodes, I know a couple of the bands that you brought in. I said, hey, these guys kind of remind me of Neutral Milk Hotel.
Yeah.
So I thought, what better for an episode than to listen to Neutral Milk Hotel and their landmark album, In the Airplane Over the Sea. So that's on deck for next week.
Well, that sounds like fun. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm excited for this Friday for our episode of Famous Folks to release with Charles Baker, if I can spit his name out. So that'll be a fun one. And actually, as the time of we're recording this, we actually haven't even talked to him yet. So I think that's the funniest part about this.
We're looking forward to the future,
which
will be in the past.
I'll be looking forward to talking to him later today. So, again, thank you for spending the time to listen to Esoterica the Podcast. Check out our website, esotericathepodcast.com. You can find all our new Famous Folk series, all of our live streams, and all of our regular episodes. Also links to our YouTube channel, anything else that we have going on.
Instagram.
Yes, social media, Instagram, Facebook. We appreciate your support and everything, so please.
Yeah, and join our mailing list to get updates when new content drops.
Yep, every Wednesday at 5 a.m. you'll get a new email about information.
Yeah, because every now and then we throw something out on an oddball schedule just because that's us.
That's what we do.
Okay.
Well, thank you again, and we will see you next week with Neutral Milk Hotel.
Stay cool.